So,
Richard,
what's up?
how is it going,
guys,
my friend?
How you doing?
We're doing good, man.
Good.
I got Freddie here beside me, and we're just super excited to talk to you.
what's up, brother?
And I appreciate you calling in. I know we were going back and forth on Instagram, and there was a story that I need to talk to you about, and I was pressing you on a little bit. You were kind of holding some things back, I think, and yeah, man. So, like I said, just tell us.
So weird. It was so weird.
So what happened?
Okay, wait, Richard. First of all, hold on one second. This is Freddie. I'm going to interrupt the hell out of you for a second.
Oh God,
I don't know anything about the Jersey Devil. I've never heard of it. And typically on this show, I'm the guy who just doesn't believe any of this stuff. So
no doubt.
I will definitely not because I've never heard of this. I have zero opinion about it. So you're probably going to enlighten me or I don't know, enlighten me. Just tell me the backstory though, because I don't know. You can say I saw the Jersey Devil. Some of us have never heard of that. So what is the Jersey Devil?
So I'll give you some backstory on the Jersey Devil from what I've seen on Monster Quest or History Channel. So it's a man deer demon. So it's they paint this animal. He's all black. He's got wings, and he stands on his hind legs, and he's got horse hooves, but he has arms with thumbs, so it's not hooved arms. But what I saw, so let's get to the story. So we're in the Pine Barrens. This is where this animal or this thing has been seen before. I mean, it's seen all over New Jersey, but this is a big territory for it. So we're in high school. My friends' parents have this home. I think it was in Washington Township. So there's a little creeks that go through there, and his family is in there. They got a brother and a sister, and we're just hanging out on the creek. We got a line in the water. The sun is kind of setting. It's getting to that golden hour, and we're just sitting on the dock, and his younger brother always liked to mess around with us. So we're minding our own business. We're fishing on the dock, and
you're sitting on the dock of the bay, sitting on the dock of the bay, just watching the tide.
Yeah, on the dock of the bay. That's right. That's right. So we hear some rustle in the bushes, and we think it's his kid brother trying to mess around with us. So we didn't think much of it. But then, a few minutes go by, and we didn't hear anything else. But, time goes by, and we hear a crackle gurgle, and then we knew it wasn't his brother. So we turn around, and there's this thing. It's all black. It doesn't have wings, though, but it's all black, and it's standing up. It's standing. And it's just checking us out. And we were staring at each other for a good 10, 15 seconds. And it was all black.
10 potatoes.
It looked like a small child with a lot of hair. But, I know what a raccoon looks like. It wasn't a raccoon. I know what a bear looks like. And it wasn't a bear, but it was somewhere in between. It was like a bear, but thinner. And it wasn't like a starving bear. It had it didn't have a snout, but this thing was up on its hind legs, just checking us out, just to see what we were doing. And it just ran away. It just left.
Was it all black?
But it was
all black because it was in a shadow, or was that the color?
It was golden hour.
Well,
of course,
there was still enough light out so we could see it, but it had black skin and it had black hair.
Interesting. Okay, so this is just a little animal.
Wild.
So I can buy that. It's like a little animal.
Yeah, but he said it's half. What did you say it was? It was half.
Yeah, but it's not. It's
not
about
the Jersey Devil. It's standing up on hooves. I didn't hear any hoof movements like you would hear from a deer.
But it looked like hooves.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it was making. It ran away on its hind legs, or it ran away standing up from us. It was unreal.
It ran like a human?
Yeah, it ran like a human. Ran away on 2 feet.
Weird.
But it was child-sized.
Child size, let's say 3.5 feet.
Did you get any look of like maybe features in the face or anything, or was it just all so kind of fast and shocking that?
It had like batty ears, but it didn't. I didn't see any wings, but it had like elf ears.
So maybe like less
Like
of like a, I don't know. People will say like a primate, like less of a primate and more like a dog or like a bear or something like that. Like what people maybe think of like the chupacabra or something like that, but standing on 2 feet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Like that's a good description. Yeah. It was like a chupacabra. It ran away on 2 feet, and we could see it for about like, another like 30 seconds as it was running away. Wow. And then it just disappeared into the brush.
That sounds feasible.
I mean, Richard, I was telling people that in New Jersey in the Pine Barrens, there is so much talk of the Jersey Devil and all that stuff, and that some people think that it could even be like some kind of shapeshifter. Have you heard any stories like that on any kind of like witches or shape-shifting Jersey Devil stuff?
They have, people have said, I looked up, now I've been interested in this, so I've been like looking it up ever since I'll read a story here and there
it's
about
like
it.
Fred with the mermaids, yeah.
And people talk about, people talk about how, it has wings, it doesn't have wings, and, they saw it, on a branch, and then when it came closer, it was much bigger than it would appear. So there could be some type of shape-shifting, like, it was, from what I hear, it's unreal.
I mean, there are like giant,
wild.
big-ass bats, right? Like, I mean,
we have bats in New Jersey.
Could it actually be just like a giant bat?
With hooves?
No, dude, I mean, those people...
I mean, that sounds like the Jersey Devil.
I agree with you.
Giant bat with hooves. Like, there are bats that are just big.
We have bats in Jersey, but look at they barely have no feet. Like, this guy's telling us he saw something that had freaking hooves. Like, how do you can't, everyone knows what hooves are, and then the thing runs like a human?
Yeah, it ran. It didn't fly away, but it ran. It like was sprinting.
Maybe it's a hybrid bat bear.
I mean,
horse, baby horse, bat.
And do you think?
I mean, have you heard the stories up in Long Island about that island out there where they were doing these wild experiments?
Like Dr. Moreau?
It's like off of Fire Island. It's off the coast of Fire Island up there.
No,
I've heard of that.
Tell us about
shut
that.
It down. I don't know too much about it. My sister has brought it up after I told her about the story, but there was a people thought it was a psych ward, I think, on the island, but they got shut down because they were conducting all these experiments, and fish were washing up on shore with like 3 eyes, and there were like alien type species washing up on shore.
I did hear about this.
Interested.
Yeah, no, I did hear about this, and
so
they
people were interested.
Yeah, and they think maybe the Jersey Devil came from that facility. That maybe it's like a mixed breed or something.
It's close enough.
100% feasible, guys.
You're believing this?
No, I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. That's all I'm saying. Like the idea that like President Obama is a lizard, I don't buy that, right? Because that's ridiculous.
It's a reptilian.
But
he could be
the
a reptilian.
idea that they've been doing animal experiments and there's this weird little animal that's fucking got different parts.
Oh, you can go on YouTube, right, guys, and you can see literally old footage from the 50s of like the Russians keeping a dog head alive, just the head, for 10 minutes. And then there's another one where you can watch where I don't really watch this stuff a lot. I'm not a psychopath.
Sounds like
but I'm just saying that you could watch where they like connect a dog head to like a cat head and then 2 different type of dog heads together. Like if they were doing that in the 40s and 50s, can you even imagine what they were doing at that facility in New Jersey?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Like if they were still allowed to do those kind of things, like there would be some ridiculous shit running around. Because I know, like I watched just.
And then if that thing survived and procreate, who knows what
for sure
could come out.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I don't doubt there's little animals that they experiment. I know that there's still a place. I can't remember where, somewhere in Southeast Asia, where they're doing maybe Myanmar, somewhere like that. I don't know. They were doing experiments on primates, on chimps, and when they got shut down, they just had to let all these chimps that they had fucked up, like they had to let them all go, and they still live in that area, and they're just all weird. They're like, I mean, there's video, like tons of it. Like you could just go see these ridiculous looking monkeys. Like, yeah, it's pretty messed up. But if they were doing that to primates, like for sure they were doing that. I know they've done fox studies. They do all these weird genetic studies on animals, but yeah, they made them quit doing it because primates are a little too close to.
Yeah, but do you think they really quit doing it?
Yeah, I think so, and that's probably why there are these things running around. If there are these things running around, because if they stop doing it,
I don't know if someone actually quit doing it. Maybe there's someone in his basement messing around. I mean, think about these people. They are so devoted to like making a new species or playing God, and they have that God simplex.
They could do that for sure.
They get shut down. Maybe they go to jail, they get out, and then, they're still going at it in their basement.
I mean, you heard of the Russian sleep experiment, right? Have you guys heard of that?
No, I haven't heard of that one.
Nope.
So these Russian scientists, so during World War II, they were like, man, we're losing, to the Germans right now. We need to figure out a way to get our soldiers to literally not sleep so we can just bull rush them and send these soldiers in. So they did this experiment where they made this type of gas, and they locked like 4 different Soviet soldiers in these gas chambers. They spewed the gas in the chambers, and they're viewing them on picture like a little old TV screen, on each room, because they're viewing them in a whole other facility. And the promise to the Soviet soldiers were, if you do this experiment, we'll set you free. Because basically back then they were all forced to be in, the military. And
right.
So what happened was,
sound pretty gullible.
To make a long story short, do this, and we'll
we'll let you go.
Do this, and we will set you free.
Just this time, comrade.
Just a bottle of vodka.
We'll give you a bottle of vodka.
Vodka, you have women.
Women and drugs. Yeah.
Nice.
So long story short, what happened to these guys were, they literally, like, when they went into the room, first of all, they started screaming bloody murder after like a week. Like just screaming, and they're still watching them. Like, what is going on with these guys? Then they tried to give them food, and they started refusing the food, and they kept saying, "We don't want the food," and they started talking like zombie-like, okay, to themselves, and then all of a sudden, in a couple rooms, it went like dead silent. Right. Long story short, they end up in the monitors. They actually ended up not even seeing them because what happened was with the back then, the way it was, they had like one camera. It wasn't full of cameras, and it was a huge room with one bed, right? They all ended up hiding under the bed, so they couldn't see them on the monitor anymore. So they actually sent a couple soldiers in one of the rooms because they just literally were not hearing or seeing anything. And they haven't eaten now in another week.
Whoa.
Okay? They go into the room, they turn the bed over, and they find the guy with basically flesh in his mouth and his stomach open, and he was eating his own flesh, saying, "I don't want to fall asleep. I don't want to fall asleep."
Jeez.
That's insane.
Then they went into the other rooms.
That is actually.
And the other 3 were dead. They tried to keep the 4th one alive. He ended up dying on the table because he didn't want to go to sleep.
That actually is a video game. I think you.
No, this is real. The Russian sleep experiment. Look it up, guys. It's real.
Sounds
Dude,
good.
that's wild, though. I mean,
So if they're doing
I feel
that,
as though they could have adapted that story to that.
Sounds.
And then, have you heard about the Nazi twins in Argentina?
no.
So I don't know what scientist it was, but they wanted to create this Aryan race, perfect human being.
Fucking
So
white,
after the
fucking
war,
white people.
one of these scientists went to Argentina, and there's I don't know the name of the village, but there's a village there where this guy was like cloning humans, and there's an abnormal amount of twins in this town. It's a village.
Wait. He was cloning them,
Like,
and then
everyone's a twin there.
Nice.
Is this real, or is
I
this
mean,
like
imagine. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is real stuff.
We need to get one of
I
them
don't
on
know
the
the name of the
podcast.
town. I'm pretty sure
One
it's
of the twins,
Argentina. But right? I bet they got some crazy stories.
Wow.
But imagine if one of those experiments goes awry, and then an animal pops out.
Or like Captain America pops out. Like you never know.
You don't know.
Like
I mean, back in the 40s, they were doing everything in World War II.
If a Nazi scientist created them.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. In World War II, think about all the crazy stuff that we were doing to win the war. I mean, they had the Philadelphia Project, where they tried to make ships go cloak. Yeah. And then the story went that they had Edison working on it with Albert Einstein and all the biggest, all the bigwigs back then, the scientists. And then they ended up doing it. It succeeded. And then the ship reappeared in Philadelphia instead of Washington. And then when it reappeared, they had all the people basically either inside out on the ship. And some of them were literally stuck like in the metal when it reappeared.
I think you believe a little bit too much.
I'm just telling stories of, things that could possibly happen.
I mean, all this is like World War II was the biggest experimental error up to that point in history.
Well, no, yeah, that's why I said like
so,
now it's not okay to do that.
Right.
So like
back then,
for sure, yeah, but they did make a ship disappear.
Yeah, but let me ask you this: just because back then it was okay, and now it's as a society it's not. Do you honestly think that the government's saying, "Oh, we're not allowed to do that. We're not going to do it," or do you think it's just way more secretive today?
It's probably way more secretive. But if they could make ships disappear,
absolutely.
like we would have some sort of technology that would be near that on the consumer level.
How do you know? Aren't we already?
It would never hit the consumer level.
Yeah, don't they say that we're like 20 years? So whatever they come out with that we use, we're 20 years behind what they already have.
Yeah, that means they would have had that shit in the 60s, dude.
Yeah, but how would they use that as a consumer product? You disappearing.
What do you mean? If teleporting, what are you talking about?
How do you know they're not already doing it?
Because nothing has appeared in my apartment.
But how would you know somebody's teleporting? Like, how would you mentally know if someone was teleporting?
Not a human, dude. They would teleport shit like packages so that they didn't have to spend $1 bazillion on the mail carrier.
Maybe they do. Do you watch the mail person go to your house every day?
Oh, my God.
What?
This is why.
I'm just saying.
Richard, this is why.
Who wants to ship out, like, secret technology?
This is why, Richard.
How did we get here?
Put that in the hands of, like, an officer in the Air Force.
This is why, Richard.
That's got to be a secretive shipment.
So, Richard, what you're saying, though, is that you maybe believe that the Jersey Devil is a creation of maybe our government? Or do you think it's a paranormal creature that is a real devil that maybe is here?
My thought is that from what we've been talking about, and
which is a lot,
there's a history, and there's a lot of history of human experiment. I'm leaning more towards the human experiment gone awry.
I am too.
Me too.
Then again, E.T. is real.
I love this
E.T.
guy
is
already.
out there.
Richard, me and you are going to be Facebook friends.
Did
Let's
you guys just become best friends?
Yes. Hey, the alien agenda is real.
I'm with you on the experimental animals that may have escaped and have procreated. That's fine. That dude is not a fucking devil with a pentagram on his ass.
But here, let me just debate it for one thing. Let me say one thing to debate it.
Okay.
They have been seeing this creature since the 1700s. So now let's talk. Now we were talking about government experiments, all this stuff, but when you think about it, in the 1700s, what was roaming America? Indians.
You can't call them Indians. That's first of all.
Really?
They're called Native Americans.
Oh, sorry, Native Americans.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, what does that have to do with?
The pyramids or the Mayan temples. Let's use something in North America, like the Mayan or in the Americas, like the Mayan temples.
Mm-hmm.
Just as it's an incredible feat as the pyramids were, and everyone talks about how aliens came down, showed them how to build the pyramids, and the pyramids are matching up with planets in the sky even before there was a telescope created.
Which is crazy.
So wild. So I know a little bit more about the pyramids in Egypt than I do about the Mayan temples, but they have that calendar, the Aztec calendar,
which was 2012,
could
right?
Really,
it was
right. But the way that astronomy lined up with the calendar that they had created was accurate 100%.
Yeah. Do you know that there's?
So how are they going to figure that out?
So because there's definitely evidence that our our planet has gone through multiple cataclysmic sort of events that killed off majorities of the populations of mammals, like almost all the population of mammals, including humans. And so it isn't far-fetched to believe that there were civilizations as smart as ours that existed prior to us. And
I agree 100%.
Got wiped out, and there would be no trace.
Yep.
There would be no trace of our like Joe's MacBook Pro here in 4,000 years would not be here. Like there would be zero evidence that it ever existed.
Yeah.
Right. Like if
Only stone.
Right.
yeah, everything that exists from ancient times is all the stone stuff,
Right.
which is just a carved piece of something that was already here in the first place. So do I believe what's more probable? Like probably that humans were more advanced at one time than that aliens came and told them. Like these microchips are gone. Like there would be no, in 300 years if the power goes out, there would be no information left to explain how to get the power back on because it would all be gone.
Right. It'd all be wiped out. And then
So-
you have a handful of people who know how to build it again.
Or maybe just have to relearn it, and that's why we go through another Stone Age and another, all these prehistoric eras that we had to go through. So, I mean,
They even think Mars. NASA was saying that their atmosphere was literally obliterated by
obliterated.
obliterated, right?
Jesus Christ!
But it was destroyed
Okay, there you go.
by a nuclear event. A nuclear event. So maybe we came from Mars. We were seeded here.
Well,
I mean, I've heard the story that,
The Anunnaki.
exactly that Mars had seeded Earth.
See?
who knows, man?
I'm telling you.
I know dick all about space.
It's really interesting about the experiments, though, because I never really thought about that when, thinking about, the paranormal, alien, stuff like that. I never, you really got me thinking about, what is our government really doing?
You should look up CRISPR, dude. Have you ever heard of CRISPR? CRISPR.
No.
It's an acronym. Dude, it's like a gene modification sort of technology that they're doing. I don't know exactly what it is, but basically they can make super animal, it's real already today, they have it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Not a secret though. It's not like some underground technology that they're trying to fucking hide. It's like a real thing that exists.
Well,
They're just not allowed to use it on people.
Well, what was the prediction from who was the guy on Joe Rogan's podcast that he had with the flame and he was smoking the stogie? What's his name?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
The owner of
Elon Musk.
Yes, Elon Musk.
Fucking
He
fraud.
was talking about how he believes in the next 20 years that every human will basically have a chip and that they will. This is 20 years.
No, I know. Yeah, we'll
And
be
that he
connected.
believes that it's better for the human race to be more digital-esque, like how can I
Borg.
explain it? Like the Borg from Star Trek,
Fuck those
than to be protein-based mammals. Now, there's a lot of debate there. Is he correct? Do you think how would they make somebody put a chip, or will they give it only to rich people if it's really good, or there's a lot of questions with that, and he doesn't really get
I
debated
mean, it could
on
also
that.
be population control. They do it at
Right.
birth. You don't even know.
That's what I'm saying. Whenever he talks about this, and he did it in Joe Rogan's podcast, all those podcasts, he talks about it, and no one really goes after him. Dude, there's a lot to that. A lot can happen. I mean, what if someone just says no?
I'll fucking surely say no.
Or what if it's like Utopia, and you're in this digital world, like that one movie, what's it called, where they put on those things and they're in the video game.
Ready Player One.
Yeah, Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Or it's like that, where we're in a digital podcast and me and you stay home in bed and just pretend like we're on a podcast show, and it's awesome. You could pick up women that way, you go to bars that way, and that's life now. But then that's only sold to the rich people.
Yeah, because you still have to have that suit.
Well, there's two sides to this. Whether it's good or bad, it's dangerous.
Well, just look at the porn industry.
20 years. That means my kid. We got to talk about that too.
If it's gonna happen, porn will start it. Because they gotta figure out how that you can get jerked off without having an actual human do it.
Wait, what do you mean?
I was talking to someone
That's
about that
what's
the other
gonna
day.
push
They
it.
were coming up with a new VR headset, and I
Yeah.
said, porn
Yeah,
is
that's what's
gonna
that's what's
change the
going to
game.
push. Yeah, porn is always pushing that technology. Like, if there's ever going to be a suit where you can like just imagine someone is fucking you, then it's going to be porn that does it. Like, if there's ever a suit that allows you to like transform yourself into like another place, it'll start with sex for sure.
You're right on
But
that.
think about it, you have all these. They hand this technology to developers, and the developers will come up with, how would you say, viable uses for the technology.
The quickest like viable use.
And, and they're crunching on computers all day. They're not getting out, and of course they want to have a chick.
Yeah, like
I don't see why they wouldn't want to create that in VR.
But the question is,
the perfect woman.
What's the catch? You know what I mean? Like, it
won't start off like nefarious, but it'll start off like, dude, here's the technology.
Nothing ever starts bad.
We have the technology, like we don't, but let's just say like in 10 years we have it. Now you can put on a suit and, you can take yourself anywhere you want to go in the world. The suit costs $100,000, but there's only 3 worlds, right? There's like the world where you can go hang gliding over, Egypt, or you can go to a brothel and pick out any whore you want.
3 downloads.
Right. Everyone's going to pick the whore. Like, no one's going to want to fly over Egypt. No, everyone's going to pick the
But,
brothel.
to touch on what you said earlier, what's like the bad side of this? I think I'm going to bring it back to population control, because imagine you're sitting on the couch, you got this headset on, and you literally become a slug on the couch. You don't get out. You don't do anything.
You die.
You're sitting on the couch pretty much fading away
Didn't make
in
any kids.
this digital world.
Right. You're living a digital life, and then the real you is a zombie, basically.
You got diabetes.
You got a couch lock.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't wipe your ass.
I mean, I think that already happens with people with social media and computers anyway.
Yeah.
So imagine if you made it real to them.
But those people are like meeting other real fat, lazy people and having babies. At least
Like real babies?
Of course they are. But like at least like when the
Catfish babies.
Yeah, they're having catfish
Don't want to
babies.
get catfish.
At least when
God.
the digital stuff happens and you can like, fantasize about some fake woman, you're not going to impregnate her and like pass on your dumbass genes to her.
Right.
Which is perfect. You just
Right,
die.
it's like the girl in the red dress from Matrix.
Yeah. You just die
yeah.
and then you never had a baby and your poor, terrible life decision genes don't get passed on.
Who was the girl in the white dress in the Matrix? She was pretty.
Your mama.
Remember, she was like, she had the cake.
The blonde?
No, the dark-haired one.
Yeah.
She was in the second one.
The French chick.
The French girl.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like, your lipstick's not on your face.
Right.
It's on your dick.
All right, we got 52. We're in 52 minutes here.
Okay, yeah. All right.
need
So, Richard, listen, it's been awesome talking to you. We got another guest calling in any minute.
Likewise, guys.
And I really appreciate it. We went way off topic, but I think it was awesome.
On.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we got to have you on again,
excellent.
man. Maybe
for sure.
Maybe we'll try to get you in the studio so we really want to dive into all this. These are great topics, and I really appreciate it, Richard.
Yeah, you got it, guys. Have a great day.
All right,
brother.
brother. We'll talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you soon, guys. All right, bye.
All right, see ya.